Hi, I'm Emily, and this is Jackson. Easy. Hi! When I was younger, I was really close to God. I often would go to church on my own as a kid. I didn't really have parents that were um, into church the way that I was as a kid. But as I grew older, I experienced more pain and loss, heartache, and I think that caused a rift in my relationship with the Lord. I remember there was a time where I completely lost faith, and it was tough. I started grappling with the fact that I felt like I was just gonna disappear one day and nobody would remember me. I would just be gone from existence, and it was really scary. I was going through a lot of hurt with losing my family members to drugs and suicide. My mother is an addict. Something I found out recently is that she relapsed after being in prison for 3 years. We took her in and thought she was doing better, but she wasn't. And I'm so happy that I found myself back to the Lord in this time, because I feel like if it weren't for Him, it would have been way rougher to deal with. When I was younger, one of the reasons I lost my faith is because I felt abandoned, even though I was going to church. And at this point, I was raised Catholic. I had been going to church every week, doing my communion, and I felt like I was going through so much trauma, and I was losing friends and family, and I felt like the Lord wouldn't have done that to me if He were real. Now I realize that there's a reason I had gone through those trials, and they made me the person I am today. And despite how hard my life was and how rough the year of 2022 was for me in the beginning, I found myself being drawn back to the Lord. And when I met my husband is what really brought me back to attending church. I remember the first time I had gone to church with my husband, I was sobbing the whole service. I still do it to this day. But I felt so guilty because I'd gone so many years fighting Him off. There were so many times where I could feel like He was reaching out, but I just continued to push Him away. And in that moment, it's just all those years, just guilt, and it just released. And in that moment, I decided that I wanted to, let Him in. And it was amazing to finally find my way back. It was a long time coming. And I asked for His forgiveness. But I thank Him for my husband and my son. And it might sound crazy, but I thank Him for those hard times. And I remind myself that those hard times are not without reason, and that the Lord has a way of showing you that in order to be strong, you kind of need to fall down a few times and hit a few lows before you can hit the highest of highs, like the baby. I want to be baptized so that I can finally publicly declare my commitment to Lord, for He is King.